Hello, Mr. Rendra, or to anyone watching this video. My name is Jason Surya. I'm from IBMIC 2025. I'm from the class Principle of Accounting, Group 8, Class C, and today I would like to talk about one of the biggest financial fraud schemes in the fashion industry that has happened recently. But before I get into it, I would like to explain that I will not be explaining about this scheme myself. I will be explaining with three of my teammates, being Richie, Darren, as well as Wenceslaus Orvin, to digest into this scheme. Now, this case is actually quite recent. The charges were the charges were starting in July 2025, and it is about the Castle Fashion scheme, or Castle Fashion case. Now, Castle Fashion is actually a fashion industry, an innovative fashion company that utilizes it's basically a startup, a fashion startup that didn't really work. And why it didn't really work is why we're here today. And Castle Fashion is owned by Christine Hunsaker, and she started this company when it was 2019, and things started well until it didn't, because in 2019 she started off with some financial fabrications. Basically, she started finding some investors to invest in her company, which is Castle Fashion once again, and she gave them many like fake or fraudulent financial statements. One of the statements actually said that they earned $66 million out of a $439 million revenue, but in reality, she lost around $81 million from a $15 million revenue, and that is one of the frauds that she done. Well, in actuality, she did around four different fraud schemes, and one of them being the financial fabrications. The second one being falsified audits, and basically she sent some financial statements as well that were fakely audited, to believe that there has been several incomes and basically sales in the company itself. And third of all, she did some identity theft and also forgery. This identity theft and forgery was actually done so that she can forge the board of directors' signature, so that she can borrow a loan from the bank, which was around $20 million. I believe it was in 2022. And finally, she did deceptive funding rounds, where she said that the shares that the investors are buying are actually from existing shareholders. While in actuality, the shares that they're buying is actually just newly issued shares that has been made by her, which again diluted the value of the company itself. And those are four of the fraudulent schemes that she has been doing in the company itself. And to the next part, I will transfer it to my teammates.
When a fast-growing fashion tech company suddenly collapsed, one question always comes first: when and where did it go wrong? In this section of the video, we'll be breaking down the timeline and the question behind the Castle fraudcast, a scandal that shook investors. My name is Wenceslaus of Partenius. The story started in 2011, when the company was founded under a different name, Guinea Beer. At this stage, there was no scandal. The company focused on clothing subscription retail and built a strong reputation, especially in the US market. Around 2018 and to 2019, the company rebranded as Castle, shifting the business model into fashion technology, helping other brand launch clothing rental programs. This rebrand marks a major turning point in its history. According to US prosecutor, 2019 is when the alleged fraud began. From this point forward, Castle was actively raising large amount of money from investors. During this year, investors were told the company was growing fast. Final performance was described as strong, and the company appears to be approaching profitability. but the prosecutor later alleged that behind the scene, financial data was being misrepresented. This period is critical because it's when hundreds of $millions were raised based on information that authorities now say was misleading. By 2023, the timeline reached a breaking point. Investors were reportedly told the castle has achieved strong profit, especially during mid-2023. However, investigators later claimed these profit figures were dramatically overstated. This year is important because it's when alleged fake or altered audit documents appear. Some investors began noticing inconsistency, and trust in the company quietly started to erode. The collapse began in 2024, early 2025. In the 2024, concern became impossible to ignore. Question about audit, cash balance, and revenue grew louder. By early 2025, Castle Board launched an internal investigation. Financial problems became public, and employees were furloughed. The most important, the CEO resigned. This marked the end of the alleged fraud period and the beginning of the public exposure. In mid-2025, the legal fallout began. In June 2025, Castle site official filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, meaning liquidation. Just one month later, July 2025, federal prosecutor unleashed a criminal charge against the company founder. That's when the case fully entered the public spotlight. Where did it all happen? The company operation started in the United States. Castle was headquartered in the United States, and most of its operation, investors, and employees were based there. The company worked with American and international fashion brands, but the core business and decision-making happened in the US. Legal proceeding in New York. The legal case is being handled in the Manhattan, New York, specifically in the Southern District, New York, one of the most powerful federal courts in the country. This court handles major financial crimes, including large-scale corporate fraud. At the same time, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, based in Washington, D.C., filed a civil case connected to the same event. So, in conclusion, when and where did the Castle scandal unfold? From 2019 to 2025, inside the US fashion tech industry, ending in a New York federal courtroom. What began as a promising startup story turned into one of the most talked about fashion fraud cases of the decade. And this timeline is just the beginning of what the court will now decide.
Now, I'll explain why the fraud at Castle happened. Prosecutors say the fraud was done to keep Castle running even though the company was losing a lot of money for a long time. Castle is a fashion rental company, and its business needed very high costs such as buying clothes, cleaning and repairing them, shipping them to customer, and storing them in warehouses. Because of this high costs, the company often did not have enough money to operate normally. The founder wanted Castle to look like a successful and strong fashion technology company so that investors would continue to trust the company and keep giving money. By showing fake or better looking financial reports, Castle appeared healthy and growing, even though it was not. This made investors believe the company was safe to invest in and help the company raise more funding. The fraud also helped hide serious problems in the businesses, such as low profits, big losses, and poor cash flow. Without new investment money, the company might have closed much earlier. Overall, the main goal of the fraud was to protect the image of Castle and keep the fashion business alive. It helped delay bankruptcy and allowed the company to continue operating, even though its real financial condition was very weak.
Now I'll explain how the fraud of Castle happened. According to the US prosecutors, Christine Hunziker allegedly made Castle look financially strong when it was actually struggling. She is accused of creating or altering financial documents such as income statements, audit reports, and bank reports. These documents showed higher value, more cash, and smaller losses than the company actually has. She also allegedly sent these fake, misleading documents directly to investors and lenders, convincing them that Castle was profitable and growing. Because of this, investors believed that the company was safe to invest in, and she was able to raise over $300 million. In reality, the company was actually losing money, and when the truth came out, Castle actually collapsed and filed with bankruptcy. So basically, the fraud happened by manipulating financial information to gain investors' trust and funding.